Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazy House here, and I want to tell you guys I'm a little confused, so hopefully you can help me out once I go through my rant about what I'm confused about. So, earlier in the week, Warner Brothers announced that there is going to be finally, we're going to see a director's cut of Justice League, and it's going to be the original director, Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, and it's going to be I believe it's going to be on HBO. So that is probably big news to a lot of people out there because there was a very large petition to get the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League put on film and out there for general consumption. So here's what I'm confused about. The I'm confused about the celebration of this by fandom. Pop culture fandom. Everyone seems to be celebrating and are just in pure joy about this Zack Snyder cut. And everyone seems to be happy about this. However, are we talking about the same person that we all, that, or not? I shouldn't say we, because I actually don't hate Zack Snyder. But apparently, a lot of fandom, the same fandom that wanted this cut, are the same ones that were cursing Zack Snyder a few years ago after that Batman vs. Superman movie. Actually, the hate for Zack Snyder goes all the way back to Watchmen. Like, I remember when the first successful film that he created, 300, everyone seemed to love that, and he started getting more work and more clout in Hollywood after that. Now, my feelings on Zack Snyder is that I actually don't hate him. I actually think he's a very talented artist and a very talented filmmaker. And I say talented artist in that he actually can draw his ass off. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever seen his storyboards. He does storyboards and concept design that's actually not bad. But, a lot of people don't get to see that because, unless you're just really into the behind the scenes and production, you've never seen that. So, and I think his movies are actually pretty good. Now, are they perfect? No. But he's definitely someone who has their own voice when it comes to filmmaking. He definitely has a style. And I can appreciate that. And the things that he's tried to adapt and put to screen are not easy. Like that I would say his attempt at making Watchmen is an actual success. That was a hard movie to make, but he managed to pull it off. And I can appreciate the effort and the way that movie was done. It actually has a very large cult following as well, despite the criticism that it got when it first came out. So he has that, and what was the other one? Sucker Punch. Yeah, not really the best movie story-wise. Stylistic, it is very cool stylistic movie. It was like watching a live-action anime, but story-wise, it wasn't great, right? Okay, fine. So then it was announced that he was going to be helming Man of Steel, and this is another reason why I'm so surprised that everyone is excited about his cut of Justice League because of all the complaining I heard about Man of Steel. I couldn't tell you, like, I remember when it came out, how much whining I saw on social media, especially on YouTube, of people who hated on Man of Steel, which I thought was actually a good Superman movie for a change. It gave me what I've always wanted to see in a Superman movie. I actually got to see a Superman movie where they didn't over concentrate on the relationship between Superman and Lois Lane, and we actually got to see Superman fight other Kryptonians and actually get to see a really cool superhero battle. I appreciated that. I was glad that Zack Snyder gave that to us. But of course, people started complaining about this fantasy world that he put on screen. So they said that Superman didn't save Metropolis, or he didn't try to save anyone. It's like, I guess you all missed the part where he saved the planet from being terraformed, and the fact that he actually had to fight several psychopaths who had his same power set. But, I guess saving the world doesn't count. You have to actually save the city itself and save property. That was more important, I guess, to those fans. But ever since then, people were saying they hate it, and that's why that criticism of that is why we never got a Superman sequel. Why they just jumped right into Superman versus Batman, and they were also trying to catch up with the Marvel universe, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I have my criticisms of Superman versus Batman, and one that it was not for kids. It's not a movie made for a wide audience, and also I thought there was too much to it. I thought it could have been cut down tremendously and been a better film. But it was still Zack Snyder's vision, and it was all supposed to be the lead in to what he was going to do with Justice League. Now, for all the criticism that I saw Batman vs. Superman get, now let's not forget that it was very successful monetary-wise. Like, it made a lot of money. But for all the criticism I saw, I was wondering, like, I was confused then, like, why is everyone criticizing this? The reason they made this movie like this is because you guys all said that the Dark Knight trilogy is the greatest superhero movies ever made. So that's why Batman Superman is the way versus Superman is the way that it is. Okay, that's why it had that dark atmosphere. That's, you guys said that you wanted basically drama / crime movies with superhero elements in there when you gave your love to Christopher Nolan and the Dark Knight trilogy, right? So that's why Batman vs. Superman was the way that it was. But when you got that in that movie, then you say you didn't like it. And this is why I always say that Hollywood studios should not always try to make things that cater to fans, because fans are extremely fickle. They can like something 1 minute and then completely tear it down the next minute. You have to look at nothing else. You can look at the Game of Thrones series or Star Wars or any other thing that has massive fandom. Your fans are going to be the ones that tear you down in the end. Like I said, with Star Wars, it's funny that during the prequel trilogy, all I heard was complaints about George Lucas and how he needs to turn the film series over to somebody else. Then when he does that, then all I do is hear complaints about J.J. Abrams and Disney, and they should give it back to George Lucas. Like I said, fandom makes no sense whatsoever. So it's almost kind of like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But back to Zack Snyder, okay? So everyone hated Batman vs. Superman. So Zack Snyder's trying to make Justice League, and he has some personal issues where, like, someone in his family passed away, right? So that's why, between that and the studio hassling him trying to make the movie less dark as Batman v Superman, now the studio is listening to the numbskull fans, so they want to change the movie. And when you have a personal problem like a family member dying, you don't want to be stressed out by work. So I can understand him just stepping down and saying, "To hell with it. Let someone else deal with this stress. I don't want to deal with it anymore," right? So he leaves, and they get Joss Whedon and a whole bunch of other people to change the direction of the DC universe. They come out with Justice League, and then you all start complaining and say you wanted Zack Snyder back. Now you want to see Zack Snyder's version of the movie, which is completely different than what you said about Batman v Superman. So that's where we're at right now, right? Now you're getting the Zack Snyder version, and I almost want to see how you guys are going to deal with this, because his original vision, I'm wondering what he's going to do as far as like the quote unquote his cut of Justice League, because he had a completely different story arc planned before. Like, it was supposed to be a 2-part movie, Justice League. It was supposed to be kind of like Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. There's going to be a whole element of even time travel in the original ideas that he had for Justice League, where there's even a whole point where Superman becomes evil. They got to go back in time and save Lois and everything else so that Superman doesn't turn evil, and then they finally defeat Darkseid at the end. I don't know. Obviously, they can't do that now because I don't know how he can recut the film to make it that. So I don't know what his recut and his director's cut is going to be. So you folks tell me. So I don't understand the fact that people hated this guy and said that he ruined the DC universe, but now they want to see his version of the films. Like someone said on a post a couple of days ago when I posted this on Facebook, they said, to fans, the grass is always greener on the other side. Even if they said that they hated something to begin with, now they want it later on. That's like I said, modern fandom is extremely fickle. They're extremely bitchy. It's kind of hard to tell what they want from one moment to the next, and I don't envy any studio exec, any director, or any person who creates these concepts because, like I said, you could spend years of your life doing production, concept work, writing, everything else, and put your heart and soul into a film project or a TV project, and then a bunch of numbskulls on YouTube who don't have that type of time or concentration or determination to create their own thing can just tear you down, and your entire production is destroyed, and all your work and effort is destroyed based on what a few idiots say about you on social media. So, like I said, I don't envy those people in their position. And to the point where I'd rather just stay small and concentrate on a small group of fans rather than trying to satisfy this large group, this large mass, and this large zeitgeist that we call pop culture fandom. So anyway, you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments section and explain this to me, how Zack Snyder can get hate 1 minute and now everyone's begging him to come back and give his version of Justice League. Anyway, you guys let me know in the comments section. Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.